All right, this is show number 61, October 30th, day before Halloween. And tonight we have Tammy Young as our special guest. And Kathleen's here, but Tim is out. We think Tim is probably without electricity, and we hope that everything's going okay with Tim and his family. We did hear that he had a few trees that hit the roof, but as of the last time we heard from him, they did not puncture the roof, so he was okay, but he did not have electricity, so I doubt he'll be joining us tonight. But we do have Kathleen and her special friend Tammy. We'll get to her in just a second. Before we do, I want to mention that later tonight, we'll be announcing the winner of the Wacom, however you say it, Intuos 4 pen tablet and the USB card reader. We'll be announcing those two. Plus, we've got, as soon as we're done with this one, Kathleen, we will be starting up another one. Whoops, and I did the wrong thing here. And if you're a member, you got to be a member of our Facebook group. I'm trying to find where we did the voting. You got to be a member of our Facebook group, and if you're a member of the Facebook group, you can vote on. Let's see, where are we at? You can vote on what the next giveaway is. And I can
so we give the power to the people.
Yeah. So right now we have a vote going on between the 82mm Expo disc and the oh, not that. I'm trying to find the, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. 82mm Expo disc and the Spider 4 Pro monitor calibrator. Right now the 82mm Expo disc is winning pretty big. 24 votes to 15. So that looks like
great prizes, whichever one it is. You kind of, they're both great to have. Yeah,
right. That is probably going to be the winner, but you still have a little bit of time to vote, and we will whichever wins, that's what we buy. We do buy these with the money that we get from people who buy gifts, or not gifts, but buy things from Amazon using our link. If you buy things from Amazon, and as we head into the holidays, be sure to use our link on our webpage. If you have any questions about that, send me an email at podcast@jpeg2RAW.com, and I can help you with that. 100% of those funds we use to buy these gifts and give back to our listeners and to our fans, because we know how expensive getting into photography is. And we let the members of our Facebook group vote on what the next gift is going to be, what the next giveaway is going to be. Speaking of that, we're nearing the end. Tomorrow is actually the last day of the photo contest for October, Kathleen.
There's been some really great ones. I've enjoyed this one a lot.
So this month's theme for October was black and white. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've seen how many photos we had in there, but I think we got 56
That's entries. A lot. Is that the most entries we've had?
Yeah, this is our third month of doing it, and this is by far the most entries. So we have a lot of entries. And the way this would work is after the 31st, so on the 1st, I'll send out a note to everybody in the Facebook group. You got to be a member of the Facebook group to enter this and to vote on it. And then we'll have about a week for people to review all the photos and like them. And the 3 with the most likes will then go to the 4 admins, which is Kathleen, Tim, Gina Perry, and myself. And we will pick a winner out of those 3. All 3 of them will then be displayed on the next show, and they will be in the show notes for the next show. And the winner will be at the will be the photo at the top of the page for the whole month. Plus, they get to choose the next contest. So, like right now, you're looking at our Facebook page. At the top of the page is the winner from the last month, Danielle Foster.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the cool thing is that we haven't had a month yet where the 4 admins were unanimous on who should get first, second, and third place. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and somebody out in chat just said, I vote D700. So,
they said I vote Mark III before they said D700.
I am blind.
You have to buy a lot of stuff through the Amazon page.
I am blinded to Canon.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
You are.
but somebody asked me yesterday, said, what happens if this thing if you start getting a lot of purchases through Amazon and start getting a lot of money there? Neither Kathleen, Tim, or I do this for money. It's all for the joy of talking, photography, meeting great guests like Tammy, and just giving back. So no matter how much it makes, I guess if it started making a lot of money, I might just turn it off. But yeah, no matter how much it makes, we'll just give away bigger gifts.
I like it.
So if we made enough money, Melissa, to do a D700, which D700s are no longer made, but if we did enough money, we would do that, or even a 5D Mark III maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But we're a long way away from that.
Swallow your pride.
We would have to vote. It would have to come up to a vote. So we're doing one other thing for the winner this month and the winner next month that we've not done in the past. So sorry about the past winners and maybe the future winners, because we only got a shot to do this with 2 people. If you remember a couple shows back, maybe 2 or 3 shows back, we had Michael Clark on the show, the venture photographer, and he said that he would donate one of his books to the show. So what we're going to do is give away one of his books, the Exposed book, to the winner of the October contest. Then the show's going to buy another one and give the winner of the November contest that book. Ship both of them out, plus I'm going to buy one personally, so all 3 of them. And then if anybody else wants to be included in that, first come, first serve. I'm not going to do 100 of these, maybe 5 at tops, because I got to personally ship them. We're going to ship them out to Michael. He's going to sign them all personalized for each person, ship them back, and I'll try to get them to the winners before Christmas. So that's special for the November and the October winners. Plus, I almost forgot, every month, every person who wins gets a $25 gift credit toward Stacy Jensen's site. Stacy is a member of the group, has been on the show, and has wrote several articles for the show, and has graciously said every month she will give the winner a $25 credit.
Yeah, that's awesome. So very generous of her.
Very generous of her. And I even ask her every month, let me know if you ever want to stop this. And she says, no, keep going.
Awesome. Very cool.
So, did I cover everything? Oh, and if you are not, sometimes I get asked by people, how do you find a show? I missed the show. Like last week's show, Kathleen did such a great job going over Lightroom, and we have been trying to keep the shows to 1 hour, but last week was so good and we were on such a roll that we just let it keep going. And we went to maybe a little bit more than 2 hours, Kathleen.
Yeah, my voice is scratchy by the time we were done with that one.
So a few people had to leave early, and I've been asked a number of times, do you record the show? Can I get the show later? And absolutely. So to make it a little bit easier, if you're in the Facebook group, and I will try and do this also like on our page or something like that. If you're in the Facebook group, I've added a file called Where to Get the Podcast, and it shows you all the different places you can get it, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, where else? Our website, of course. You can get it from an RSS feed. You can get it from your phone using an Android or a Windows phone or an Apple, what do you call it? An app for an Apple phone. You can get it from all those different places. Plus, I included a few other links like the Kathleen's page and Kathleen's blog and mine, although mine's not updated very often. So that is a great place to go if you're looking for how can I get the show if I can't stay the whole show or I missed a show. Mm-hmm. So what else, Kathleen?
Well, we have another giveaway that we haven't announced yet, but
are we ready to announce it?
We are ready to announce it. I'm not sure when we're going to do this, but we had such a great response off of the Lightroom show, and I've been for about 6 months now doing one-on-one mentorships with other photographers, and it's been going really well, and I really enjoy just helping people along with their business and their talents. And so we're going to be giving away a one-to-one mentorship session with me, which will be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So one-on-one mentorship through, I guess, Skype or something like that?
We'll probably do Skype or Google Plus, whatever the other person has is fine with me.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. And I have a promotional marketing piece that should be launched this week. So I'm excited.
A promotional, because you know what we often forget, and I often forget to remind people of this, Kathleen, is that while Tim and I, photography is more of a hobby for us. I've never shot for a living, but I did shoot for money for a couple of years on the side. But I've never done it for real. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Tim has either. He can correct me next week if I'm wrong. But you are a professional photographer. Of the three of us, you're the only one that is that professional photographer who takes amazing photos. You have your own website promoting that. You have a Facebook page, and I've put it on our Facebook page before, but in case people have not gone to your page, what is their Facebook page?
I don't know.
Well, to make it easy for everybody, I do know.
There you go. I don't know.
To make it easy for everybody.
But my website is just www.KathleenBowiePhotography.com. I know that.
Okay. And if you go to, well, I don't know if I can get to it here, but I have it in a Facebook group, and on every show notes, at the bottom of the show notes, there's links, and there are links.
I'll put it in the chat room. I'll find it.
There's links back to the Kathleen site, and we're gonna Kathleen Bowie Photography. Here we go.
Found it?
Yep. So I got it coming up now. So this is her Facebook page. I don't want to pull up your real page because there's music on it, and I can't hear the music, and I won't know if I stopped it or not.
Okay.
So, but this is her Facebook page, and you can see just from the beginning, the lead-off photo is gorgeous photo. So, Kathleen, I often forget to mention that, but make sure you go out to her Facebook page and to her website and take a look at that. And you have a blog there too, and all those links are actually in every show note. Every show note, I put it down at the bottom, Kathleen's links, and it's on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Thanks.
So we'll be looking for. You said you didn't have a timeline on when that's going to happen?
It's up to you. Whenever we need the next giveaway, we'll do it.
Okay. Well, we'll talk offline whether you want to do that as a 2013 thing or want to do it before Christmas.
It would probably be a 2013 thing.
Okay.
We can give it away in December, and then I can do it in January or something like that.
There we go. So maybe like a Christmas gift or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right. So now will probably be the last time I get to speak for the whole rest of the show.
You got that right.
Let's go ahead and turn it over to Kathleen and to Tammy.
Well, we are so excited to have Tammy Young on as a guest finally. In fact, when Mike asked for me to be a co-host on the show, he asked me, do I know of any photographers that could come on as guests? And Tammy was the first person that I asked. And Mike, how long have we been doing this show now?
Oh, we've been doing it over a year and a few months. So and I reached out to Tammy back then.
It's taken her a long time to actually come through, even though she said yes. And it's because she's so stinking busy with her business. And that's a really good thing and a hard thing, also being a mommy of 2, almost 3 babies. Sure. So, Tammy, thanks for joining us and giving us some of your time.
Yeah, we're so glad we can get you on.
I'm excited.
And then sitting beside her, the shoulder that you see in the distance, that's Steve. That's Tammy's husband. And during the show, we're also going to be talking about the Young method, which is something that Steve and Tammy came up with together. It's a pricing method that I use and they use, and ever since I started using it, because Tammy basically called me and put me in timeout because I wasn't doing my pricing right, my sales have gone up 60%, which is amazing, and I'm doing less work, which means I get more family time. So it's a win-win. It's awesome. Okay, I want to start off though with how you got started into photography. So go ahead and tell us that.
Oh gosh, it started with my dad, kind of like you. We were on a family vacation. I can't even remember where we were going, or what, like, how old I was or anything about it. I just remember he wanted to do a photo contest, and so we did a photo contest, and of course I won the photo contest, and that kind of sparked my interest in it. And I was probably maybe 12 or 13 years old or something, and from that point on I've always had a camera in my hand. In high school, I would take my friends out and we would go dress up and go to different places and do photo shoots and that sort of thing, and I loved it. And then on into college, I thought, hey, if I could do this as a career, this would be great. I'd never ever thought that it would be something that I actually would wind up doing as a career. So I feel very blessed that I am able to call this my job. And as far as, that's kind of how I got into it. I worked for a studio, actually worked for Glamour Shots for a year, taking inappropriate photographs of women that were, I knew God did not want me to use my talent on that. So I'm like, God, please get me out of here. And he did. He led me to another studio, and I worked for them for 5 years. And that kind of went down pretty quickly. The economy just got the best of that studio, and their loss was my gain. I actually was able to kind of overnight, Steve and I had, gosh, we've been married for how long? When we, maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months we were married, and that happened, and we were kind of forced, not forced, but we were given the opportunity to decide, okay, do we want to, start my own business? Do we want to, do I want to look for another job? And I knew I did not enjoy working for other people. I enjoy being, my own boss. I like having my own, my own hours set and that sort of thing. So that, I think Friday was the day I was in the dentist, actually. We got a phone call that said that they were going to evict that studio, that the studio was being evicted. And so I think, I want to say that Wednesday, the next Wednesday, Steve and I decided to go ahead and start Tammy Young Photography. And from that point, I will never forget the days and hours of, just praying about it and really just, kind of seeking what God wanted us to do. But then also just kind of going over the pricing structure and how to figure all that out, because the studio that I worked for had such a different pricing structure, and my clients, of course, they were all used to that. So it was really a, kind of a tough decision trying to, come up with that. But Steve is the mastermind behind all of my pricing. He is very brilliant when it comes to that. So, anyway, so overnight we kind of decided to do that, and I have to say my very first sale that I had was over a $2,000 sale, and so I was
like, that never happens for your first sale. That's awesome.
So it was kind of a confirmation to me. It was exactly the amount of money that we needed to kind of get the ball rolling in the right direction, and then just kind of, another crazy thing that happened was I didn't have a studio. I had no space. We were living in a smaller home, and I was like, what in the world am I going to do? I have no space, and I didn't know outside of the studio. I knew all just, studio backdrop, and the lighting and that sort of thing. I didn't know, like, the natural lighting and, going on location. I was just learning how to do the outside stuff. And so anyway, long story short, there's an orthodontist that we worked with, that we had a relationship with, that wanted to continue the relationship of doing photographs for his patients when they got their braces removed. And he said, hey, by the way, I've got all of this space in the back that I don't use right now, probably not going to use it for about 3 years. You can use it. It's yours. You can use it for at least, as long as I don't need it. Here's the code. You can go in anytime you want. You can use it for all of your clients. And so we have been just completely blessed. And God has honestly just opened every single door that needed to be opened and closed all the doors that needed to be closed. So we feel really blessed to be here. So that's kind of how I got started in photography.
Yeah. And you come from a huge family.
Yes.
One of how many?
Well, there's 8 of us total. We have an adopted older sister, so there's 8 total. I'm the baby, just like you.
Mm-hmm. Which is really funny because my oldest sister's adopted and I'm the youngest of 7. So Tammy and I have a lot in common aside from just the photography, which has been a lot of fun for us and our photography journey together, as a matter of fact. But
yes.
Okay, so you started this career, and I'm sure you started off probably photographing a lot of kids and families because of the studio you came from. When did you branch out and start doing a lot of senior stuff?
It's funny you ask that. The guy that I worked for at the other studio, he really was pushing me into the senior market a lot, and I was really hesitant at first because I wasn't as comfortable with seniors as I was just running around and being silly with kids, just because I have always worked with kids and I love kids, and that was just kind of what I was comfortable with. But as far as, you know, getting started with seniors, he actually started kind of pushing me towards that in his business model, and that's kind of what he wanted, you know, wanted for me to do, because the biggest thing was it's a money maker. I mean, it's a bigger money maker than children's, because not necessarily a bigger one, but it's kind of like weddings, you know, seniors. It's kind of a one-time thing, and so parents are okay with, you know, spending a couple $1,000s on senior pictures, and it's like, really, you're going to pay this kind of money? That's kind of crazy. But you know, it's great. And so that's when I, you know, really started getting into that. And then of course I saw something online about somebody doing something with a limo, and I thought, you know, that would be really fun to kind of do some kind of a fun limo day type thing and really kind of roll out the red carpet for seniors and just make them feel really special, because, I mean, you know, that's, again, it's kind of like one of those once in a lifetime things. You're only a senior once. You really only get your second one. So anyway, so that's kind of how I got into it. And then once I started doing it, I loved it. And of course, it's, you know, you can pose them and they don't run.
Right, exactly.
You don't have to duct tape them to the chairs. So that is
you're not jumping up saying peekaboo.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay,
I have, however, said peekaboo before to
You're like, I just forgot where I was.
I know. Sorry about that.
All right, so tell us about your limo day, because that's a really cool concept that you came up with, once again, to make your seniors feel special, but it's also become a big moneymaker for you. So tell us all about what Limo Day is and how you guys set it up and work it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, again, I can't take complete credit for it, because I did see somebody else, another photographer, doing something, not the same thing that I was doing, but anyway, so I really don't know how we got into it, to be honest with you. Basically what Limo Day is it's my senior rep, it's my senior representative photo shoot. I have applicants, or I have models, basically. I think it's up on chat right now, is the website that they go to and they sign up, and then once I get all of those applicants, then Steve and I, or actually one of my assistants helped me one year, just pick out those models. And basically I try to pick out you know, models who are really well connected. So I check their Facebook page to make sure that, you know, one, that they're on Facebook, that they're well connected with their friends.
So these are seniors in high school.
Seniors in high school.
They apply
well, actually, they are juniors getting ready
juniors.
to be seniors. Yes.
Okay. And they apply to be a model in your Limo Day, and they have to tell you their name, their age, what school they go to, sports.
Right. Any kind of extracurricular activities, you know, that sort of thing. And then I kind of scout it out and see, you know, on Facebook, kind of, you know, how many friends they have. Do they post stuff on there? Are they active on there? That sort of thing, just to make sure that I know that they're going to be really excited about, you know, marketing for you. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the first time I did it, we didn't really, I mean, Facebook was there, but it wasn't like it is now.
Right.
So anyway, so basically I pick about 5 to 7 models, boys and girls, and the biggest, I guess the best thing for me is I always look at what school they go to as well, and see what, you know, kind of what demographics are in that area. There's a school that is a really good school here. Well, there's lots of good schools, but there's one that's really good here in Louisville that most of my high-end clients come from. So when I see that school, I'm like, okay, yes, you're in. Doesn't matter if you're good looking or not.
Right. You're in.
You're in, because I know that you're going to be a good sale. Is that bad? That is bad.
No. It's
but
business.
Basically, we have a hair and makeup artist. I have an assistant that comes along that drives my car around with all of my props and chairs and reflectors and battery packs and that sort of thing. Who else comes along? And then, of course, Melvin, my limo driver. I've had Melvin all however many years I've been doing this. I think 4 years I've been doing this now. And he's been great. This past year we didn't get Melvin, we got his daughter, which was a whole nother experience, having someone who doesn't know how to drive a limo. We were hitting potholes and like swerving, and it was really quite scary. But Melvin is great. He is great. But anyway, so we got a great limo driver. He's been doing it with me, doing the limo day with me for as long as I've been doing it, and so he kind of knows, how
where you want to go,
where I want to go. And he's really good. Like, he knows the streets. He knows, the different parts of town. And he's like, this is a really sketchy part of town, don't you? I'm like, it's okay. You're here. You'll take care of us.
Yeah. So you put all these juniors in the limo. You drive them around downtown Louisville. You roll up the red carpet, literally. You take pictures of them all over town. And it basically is a senior photo shoot, but you're there with 7 of your friends.
Right. Yeah. And they come a little bit early and they get their hair and makeup done. And then I pick out outfits and that sort of thing, before we get in the limo. And then we get in the limo with some music and some drinks and snacks and play. I try to play like a little get to know you game, like If Then, or what was the one that I did? I can't remember. Two Truths and a Lie, just to try to, kind of break the ice a little bit, because everybody's really nervous at first. And so that first, like, initial, 30 minutes with them is really kind of awkward. And there's nothing you really can do to break that. It's just kind of like everybody's trying to figure out who's going to be, the most photogenic, and who's going to get photographed the most, and what outfits. Does my outfit look as cute as her outfit? And that sort of thing. And then, of course, if you add the guys to the mix, then, of course, the guys are, they're all flirting with the girls and stuff. So it's fun. It's very fun. It's a great time to get some great images. And then what I do basically, I don't know if you're going to ask me that or not, so I'll stop talking.
Okay, well, so to begin with, to be on the limo day, you don't have to pay anything, right?
No, it's completely free for them.
Okay. And then what do they walk away with from the limo day?
You want to give your website?
They have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have it. They get, it's up on the chat right there. They get 4 to 6 hours of a photo shoot, basically. And they get 3 images. And then they also get, and those images I actually pick. I pick those so that I can go ahead and get those edited and to them. And then they also get rep cards, either 25 to 50 rep cards. And those rep cards I get them from, I don't know if you can see these or not. You see those?
Oh, yeah. They're like rectangular.
Yeah, they're from Miller's, I think is where I get these from. They're the little small ones, but they come in a cute little case, like it almost looks like a cigarette case. But on the back of them, I have an offer that just has $50 off your senior package. So any model that I shoot, like any rep that I shoot, will get an offer on the back of their card, so that when they give it to their friends, that it's a little bit more enticing for their friends to to give me a call. And then also I am doing a Facebook contest right now as well, to do to kind of get to give my reps a little cash, I guess, and a little incentive to market me a little bit more, to have all of their friends to like their photograph, and whoever has the most likes by the end of November will get some cash from me. So just another little, incentive to try to market my seniors.
That's so smart.
So
go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I've been a little distracted about trying to do notes, and I'm horrible at it, so I need Tim back. But so I just think I just caught on this whole thing you do as a marketing marketing thing.
Yeah.
So, and do you buy their lunch also?
Yes. Well, it depends on what time of day. This past year we were going to do it in the evening, but it was going to be like 100 and something degrees. So we changed it at the last minute and did it in the morning. It still wound up being 104 degrees. By the end of the shoot, we were completely soaking wet and just exhausted. But it's a free, it's a marketing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Mike.
So you do the whole shoot with the juniors, so that later when they become seniors, they'll say, you know who I want to do my senior shot is Tammy, and they also tell all their friends.
Well,
is that the thinking?
Kind of. It's juniors. They're going into senior year, so it's the summer. Usually, it's the summer before
their senior year.
Okay.
So these are their senior pictures.
Oh, okay. So for them,
they're basically getting a little mini package from me, and then if they make their order within a certain amount of time, then they will get a percentage off of purchasing additional images. So I will pick out my favorite 3 because it's my marketing, and I want to pick out the best images for the marketing. And so anyway, so then they will then be able to purchase additional photographs.
Plus, with the cards you gave them, those are discount cards to hand out to their friends?
Sure, yes.
That is a fantastic idea.
Isn't it great? Okay, now here's the other thing. You have a big reveal for all these kids with their images. Tell us about that.
Well, I've done it several different ways. What I used to do before I had kids, I would actually have each of them to come and meet me at my studio, and I would show on the large screen a slideshow of their photographs and show them, like I would give them their 3 images and their package, what they get from Limo Day right then, so that they were excited to have something in hand. And then, and that was kind of how I did it. Now what I'm doing is I use Animoto. It's a slideshow program online, and I basically will do a slideshow of the whole day, and video and different things like that from the day, from the shoot, and actually kind of reveal, the day on Facebook, and then also send that out to them through email. And then I will also do just their individual slideshow of all of their photographs, and send that out as well in an email, and then either sit down with them and look through their photographs with them, or they can do it online. I will say that my sales have been bigger whenever I've done it in person than when I do it over, just through email and online. But with kids, it's a little bit difficult to do. So we just go with what is the most convenient at this point. So.
That's awesome. Now, I think I remember you telling me back when you used to have them in the studio that they could bring basically whoever they wanted to this big reveal of their senior pictures. And so that really created a really nice hype in the room.
Yes.
For, oh my goodness, look how great you look. And then they placed their order right then and there, which is that whole in-person sales, which everyone is just oohing and awing over. Oh my gosh, I love that picture on the gold couch with that girl with the long blonde hair. That is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Plus the peer pressure helps too.
Yeah, yes, it does. And I've had great results with that, but to be honest with you, it seems like everybody is so busy these days that it's so hard to get between their after school programs and sports and everything. It really is hard to sit down and pinpoint a time. That's one of the other reasons why I just said, let's just start doing this online, because it's so much more convenient for them. It's convenient for the parents. Of course, you don't get that one-on-one with the parents that I feel like I'm more comfortable with, kind of schmoozing with the parents than I am with the kids, because I know who's going to write that check,
Right.
And so, anyway, this is just what we've found to work right now, and hopefully in the future we'll kind of go back to a more personal, a personable, sit down kind of formal thing, but this is what works. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. I've always been in awe of your Limo Day and thought that it was just smart, so smart, and it really gets, aside from marketing you, it gets the kids in their schools excited about your company
Right.
And so when they all start talking about senior pictures, they say, oh my goodness, have you heard that photographer Tammy who does that limo day? I want to do that so bad. It's the thing that they want to do. So I think it's just very smart.
It's a lot of fun, and again, it's all about the experience. And I try to, even with my other photo shoots, I try to make it all about the experience and having fun, and and just when the moms or dads or whoever gets there, they're all, you know how it is, they're all uptight. They, their kids are screaming, or they had a horrible hair day, or whatever the case has been. So it's really just, I really want them to enjoy it, because if they don't, then that's what's going to be, associated with those photographs, and then they're not going to be, they're less likely to buy them, So I really try to make that experience a fun experience, no matter if it's the limo day or if it's just the normal, my normal 2-hour photo shoot. So, but yes, it's fun to see and hear my past limo day reps, my models, talk about limo day and how much fun they had, and so yes, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me. I enjoy it. I mean, I just I go in my own little world on the day of. So, but yeah.
If you had to say what your average sale is off of a limo day purchase, not regular senior pictures, but a limo day purchase, what do you think it would be?
Don't look at them.
Oh, I look at my husband.
Her husband's going to look it up and actually give you a number, not a guess.
Here's the thing. This is what Steve and I were talking about the other night. It's a marketing thing. So if I don't make any money at it, I write it off as marketing. If I break even, and I typically will spend about $1,200 on this event, between limo, the limo, the makeup artist, and of course that all depends on how many girls I have, because I pay the makeup artist per girl. But my costs are about $1,200. If I break even, then hey, I've got free marketing,
Right.
But in the past, I've always made something off of it.
Nice.
The first time I had limo day, I had one sale that was $800 sale. So that sale alone almost paid for the entire day.
Yeah.
And then everything else was kind of just, extra, was just, gravy. So, so I don't make a whole lot off of limo day. It really is that residual, because you don't know how many people you're going to get from all of those reps, or all those moms talking about you and handing out those business cards or those little rep cards with your name on it. And I tell you, the parents get involved too. The parents absolutely love it, because they're like, oh my gosh, my child's getting to, especially if it's a girl.
She was chosen for limo day.
She was chosen for limo day, and you got to ride in a limo, and and it's a lot of fun. It's a big hype, but it's a lot of fun, and we get some really great images, because I think when you're working like that in that kind of environment, you're really kind of stretched, because you only have a few minutes with each of those kids. I mean, 4 to 5 hours with up to 7 kids, that's a lot.
It is a lot. That's a lot.
And then to think about picking out outfits and then locations to match those outfits. I mean, really, my brain just goes into super, I don't know what kind of mode. Like, I'm going to freak out kind of mode. But once the day is over with and I look at the images, I'm like, oh man, this rocks. I've got some really awesome stuff from this. But you kind of have to, I say it stretches you, because you really have to really think about your shot before you do it, and what you're going to do with those people, and get it set and shoot it, and then move on. And
then do it the first time or the second time the way you want it.
Yeah, and then also going between girls and guys, shooting, because how it is. I mean, guys, you cannot pose them the way you pose girls. So to even go, I remember at one point last year, not this past time, but the year before, having a guy waiting on me and photographing a girl, and I'm like, okay, come over here, and then switched out, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I gotta think about this. So creatively, you have to really be on your game. So that was another point I was gonna make, is last year, again, not this previous year, but the year before, I had a second shooter. I had one of my girlfriends come shoot with me, and it was so much fun. It went so smooth. It was just, I mean, it was just a blast. And of course, I love photographing with her because she's just so much fun. And she's really, really good. She's very talented. And I knew she would kind of challenge me too. So I knew that aspect was there as well. But I will say getting the images afterwards was kind of a pain, because then, you know, of course, as photographers, we want to go through our own stuff. We want to cull our own stuff. We want to edit our own stuff and that sort of thing. So that part of it was not at all what I was kind of expecting. So that was a little bit of a bummer for me. But as far as actually having the extra set of hands and the extra eye and the creative, you know, the creative you know, another creative eye there. It really, you know, it really did help, and it really did go really well. So, but anyway, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, let's move on to the Young pricing method. Tell us how you guys kind of came up with it. I know that Tammy has told me that you guys would pick dates on your calendar that you would get together and just talk business for Tammy Young Photography, and that Steve was really the brainchild behind the pricing method. Where do you get your background from, Steve, to be able to know how to do this?
That's a good question. I'm just an analytical guy by nature. My dad's a businessman, or that's his degree anyway. So I think I grew up around a little bit. My parents owned a business when I was a kid, so I'm always. Plus, I like money. I like to think about ways to make more of it. So, if we're honest.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've solved. I think we can solve a few problems here. I have some open positions in my accounting department. Steve, you can come on down, and Tammy, you can move down here, and then there you go. Y'all are down here.
That's funny.
Done deal. All right, so tell us where you guys came up with the idea.
Sure, and I'll give you. One of the first things we had to decide, and I think this is important no matter what line of business you're in, is you really got to decide who you want to be. And I'll use the analogy now, and I'll probably repeat it again later, but we looked at the business, the studio where she was, and it was they intentionally targeted a higher demographic, and their pricing was. I remember when we started dating, and I saw the amount that people paid for pictures at the studio, and I was blown away, because all I've ever seen is like Olin Mills, you know, and thinking like you can get 400 photos for $10, and so was really shocked that people would pay $400, you know, for some photos. And anyway, when we were looking at our own business model, I used the restaurant analogy, and I said, you've got to decide if you want to be a McDonald's that's going to service a whole bunch of customers and give them fast food stuff. You know, you're going to have client after client after client, and you're going to give them photo after photo after photo, but you're going to spitting stuff out. Or you want to be like a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and you want to have a few clients, but treat them really, really well, and give them a really superior product. And so naturally, because her experience was more to Ruth Chris kind of studio, she said, I want to be that. And so we really built a pricing structure and a business model that addressed a few clients really, really well. And that way she can focus on a better product. And we really use that analogy all the way through things, even to the point of when do clients pay. If you're at a McDonald's, you pay up front, and you don't care what the food tastes like. They want your money up front. Whereas a nice restaurant, you pay when you're happy with your meal. And so even down to those kind of details, we said we want to be the Ruth Chris Steakhouse. So
I like it. Well, and I remember when Tammy was kind of giving me my lecture that I wasn't making any money. I think, okay, so here's when my light bulb went off for me. And I'm telling this so for the people who are in chat, maybe you can like resonate with my story. So I started off at $150 for a photo shoot with a disc. Very McDonald's mentality, right? They paid me, I did the photo shoot, they got their disc, done deal. And then I just tried to keep raising my price. So eventually I got it to like $350, and you still got your disc with all your images. And one time Tammy and I were talking, and I said, she asked me, she said, well, how much did your business make last year? And I was like, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but not a lot. And I was like, well, how much did your business make? And she said, well, I'd have to talk to Steve, but I do know that at the end of the year, I had X amount of dollars still sitting in my checking account. And the X amount of dollars that she still had in her checking account was 4 times the amount that I made the whole year. That was Tammy's leftovers.
Wow.
And I had been doing photography. Well, I had been doing my own photography business for longer than Tammy, and here she was like lapping me with what she was making in her business. It was
just
amazing.
Smarter.
Very smart.
That's why I whipped you into shape.
That's right. So she whipped me into shape quick. And the problem was for me is that I was really nervous about what my clientele would think. And I don't know any other way to say it, but get over it. Because you're going to disappoint some people, and then you're going to make a whole other group of people really, 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 really happy with what you're giving them. Right. And I work less, and I've made 60% more than I ever have on this pricing method than I did any other method of pricing that I've done. Okay, so give us the basic bones structure of your guys' pricing method.
Want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, and this was a little bit more controversial maybe 4 or 5 years ago when we started, but we were looking at what people were asking for, and at the studio she worked at, people were always asking for digital images, and of course they were pretty old school, and it was basically not an option to get the digital images. So we said, first thing first, we're going to make sure that folks can get a digital image. That we wanted to build our pricing model around that, because that's what people were asking for. So we have a session fee in place, and we chose $75 an hour as a session fee. We actually were just talking last night about how it might be time to raise that. But we decided let's keep it simple, and we wanted a pricing structure that was simple. So we didn't do any of the extras. You know, it doesn't matter how many poses you want, how many outfits you want, how many subjects you want. Whatever you want to do in an hour, she's going to do it for $75 an hour. It seemed like nickel and diming to go beyond that, in my opinion, in our opinion. But again, there's different models there, it's not right or wrong. But then as far as the actual art itself went, we decided to price it around images. And so we worked out, we just crunched some numbers of how much each sale she wanted it to be, and we broke it down. We ended up saying we're going to charge $65 an image. All this pricing, by the way, is on her website, TammyYoungPhoto.com. You can go to info and pricing, and we put it all out there plain for everybody to see. Again, I want people to know up front what they're getting into before they even make that initial contact. We don't want, really, we want people that are going to contact her to know, hey, you're going to have to pay for this.
Right.
And otherwise it would waste a lot of time with questions. Anyway, so we built it on the images, $65 an image. One thing that was important to her, though, and especially as we started looking at what prints look like from Walgreens and other places, is we really wanted to avoid, we wanted to give people the rights to own their own images and to print their own stuff, because that's what people were asking for. But we wanted to avoid too many people actually printing their own images, getting their own prints. And so we built print credit into the pricing structure. So she built some packages, and she's actually gotten rid of the lowest one, but we had a 3-image package, $65 an image, times 3, it was $195 plus $75 session fee. So her minimum real deal is people would spend about $270 with her, and they'd get the 3 images, and then she gave them some print credit. For the 3 images, you got $30 of print credit, and she had pretty affordable prints, and they could get a handful of prints from her for that. If they bumped up to 5 images, they got $75 of print credit, and 9 images was $150 of print credit. And there was some bonus print credit built into the more images, which pushed the clients into the higher numbers of images. But anyway, it's all built around that per image model. They don't get a disc with 100 images on it. If they want more images, they buy more images. That's it keeps Tammy's editing down. She's not editing 20 or 30 images. She's editing what they pay for.
Yep.
And we let them know when you buy an image, you are going to get a completely enhanced edited image. It's not going to be just some random file. This is going to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb. And this girl is the Photoshop queen. And so when she edits an image, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's basically what I started doing as well, was the per image price. And I was really scared to do that because I was so afraid, how as a parent could you only choose to purchase 5 images or 3 images or 10 images when there's like 50 amazing ones? Like, how is any parent going to be able to say no? And then my fear was no one's going to be able to afford to get what they want. And what I quickly learned is that when there is a dollar amount per image, parents can make their minds up so fast. Even faster than I could as the photographer. Right. I would like send them an email and say, here's the link to your gallery, here's the pricing, and like that day I would get the results back, like here are the 15 images that we want to purchase. And in my mind I'm thinking, wait, no, didn't you see the 30 that I sent you? They're all awesome, but they, if there's a dollar amount attached to it, then they are more decisive. And the great thing about that is that it cuts down on the editing, just like Steve said. And that's something else, is that Tammy taught me this as well, is that we go through and we exposure correct our images, but anything major like blemishes or teeth whitening or whatever, you wait for those things after you know what the client is buying, which is saving you so much time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've tried the editing beforehand, and you know, like editing my favorite like 10 or 15, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference. If I just edit one for them and show them, like you were telling me, just show them a before and after, it really does make a difference. And then you're not sitting there. Gosh, I was sitting today editing a little girl that has really bad skin. Like her complexion is just awful, and I'm like, I do not know how in the world I'm going to make this look good without just completely airbrushing her. And I just had to like stop editing and go to another picture because it was just so bad. And I'm like, why would I spend all of that time doing that on every single image if I am not sure that they're going to purchase it? You know, it's kind of wasted time. You know, when we have kids, that's more, our time is more valuable, you know? So, so yes. Yeah.
Well, and I've done it both ways too. And I will say that I'm making more money now not editing every single picture than I was when I was editing every single picture with the fine-tooth comb to the nth degree. You know, through Photoshop. I'm making more money doing it this way. And the funny thing is, to me, is that that's not new. That's not a new idea. You go back to the old school, Olin Mills or wherever, the old school studios, and they didn't edit anything until they knew what you were buying. So we're kind of bringing it back.
Yeah.
And I have, when I send my clients, you know, their link to their gallery, I have something in there that says, you know, dark circles under your eyes, blemishes, all these things will be taken care of in the final retouching process. And then I have in there, if there is a birthmark that God gave to your child or to yourself that you would like to keep, please let me know, and it will stay right where it is, where God put it beautifully so. Otherwise, it is gone. Let me know. And that way I don't have to sit there and be like, man, that stork bite is really obnoxious. Should I remove it or should I leave it? You know?
I know. That's too funny.
Well, it's really great. So I would really encourage everyone to go out to Tammy's website and check out her pricing structure. Mine that I have is based off of the same idea that Steve just described to us. It's slightly different. I don't do an hourly session fee, but man, you're making more money than I am if they do a 4-hour session. So I might want to change that up.
And we showed it here in chat for a little bit, but yeah, definitely go to her site. We'll have it on the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Very cool.
Well, we're coming up on the hour. Do you want to open it up to questions in chat for a little bit? So there's been some questions, and I know I've missed them as we've gone along. So if you had some questions for Tammy or for Steve.
I noticed one just here about what her copyright release was, and we're not lawyers, but basically we turn over rights for printing. I think it's a printing release more than anything. That we say they can post them on Facebook, share them with friends, but we ask them not to profit off the images, that she still owns the rights to use them for profit means.
Okay.
That's perfect.
How long do they have the gallery up for them to choose?
You know, I do 2 weeks, but I have some clients who still haven't made their made their choices, and I photographed them in July.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really a softie when it comes to this. I tried to kind of crack down. We tried to do a reward program based on getting their, you know, making their order on time, and, you know, kind of like the Qdoba points or whatever you get, like when you go somewhere, you kind of get a reward card. And you know, that just seemed a little bit complicated for me. I was like, can they not just make their order on time?
In fact, that's all still, we really like the rewards program. We just haven't been able to keep up with it. But if anybody's interested and has time, it's also on her website under rewards. People think they're getting it. We just don't do it.
Probably need to take it down because it's a little too complicated for me.
But the whole idea was if they ordered on time within their 2-week window, rather than give them discounted prints, we gave them extra rewards. So they would get double the points, which could be applied toward extra prints or towards a future session or whatever.
Yeah, It's a great idea, and Steve came up with all of that. But to answer your question, I tell them 2 weeks, and then I kind of give them, and it also all depends on, who the client is. I mean, the client that I'm waiting on right now, she is my bread and butter, so I'm not going to call.
You give her a little extra time.
I mean, and I just actually texted her this week. Hey, just wanted to make sure that you didn't need any help, with your photos. And she said, well, just so you know that we're going to, we actually had everything picked out, but we lost the paper, and I can't get my husband to sit down and look at him again. He's about to kill me. But I do want to book. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I will still wait on you.
Yeah.
But yes, 2 weeks is kind of my time frame on that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what the next question was, so are you not doing them in person now? The person one, is that the only Limo Day ones, or do you do all of them in person?
I do not do them all in person. Again, it depends on the people. I have a couple of people that would prefer to do in person, and I will make time for them because, again, they are my bread and butter. They're the people that come back to me every year and spend sometimes over $2,000 with me. So I will sit down with those people and spend as much time with them as they want me to. Okay. However, for the most part, most of my clients are like, just throw them up online and I'll email you, or I use PhotoBiz, and they can do their order straight through PhotoBiz, and it sends me an email, and then I edit those, and then I'll put up the edited versions, and then they can order prints after I get those photographs up that are edited. So yeah, I don't really do it in person unless it's a specific client that wants that. Okay. I give them the option, but most of them would rather do it online.
And the question about copyright release or print release, you give a print release, not a copyright release, right?
Yes.
What was the other one? What editing do you do? Are you using Lightroom, Photoshop, both of them, something else?
I use both. I use Lightroom. Now, after Kathleen's tutorial last week, I have been using Lightroom more. She did a fantastic job.
She did a great job.
I just upgraded to the Mark III Canon 5D Mark III this month. And
Isn't it awesome?
It is really awesome, and I love it. But I'm using it to the capacity of my brain and not to the capacity of the actual camera. You were right with sitting down with the manual. I just have not had time to sit down and read it from cover to cover yet. So I'm watching tutorials on how to actually do, learn the camera a little bit more. But editing software, Steve just upgraded me to CS4. CS4, yes.
CS6.
CS6. I'm so sorry. See, I'm out. Lightroom 4.
Lightroom 4.
See, I was getting mixed up. So yes, I use Lightroom for most of my stuff, but again, I photograph mostly seniors, and a lot of them have blemishes, and so I have to take them into Photoshop.
That's one of the things Lightroom just. I'm sorry.
I was going to say she's the face swap and head swap genius. So she gets in Photoshop and just moves people's heads around. And she has this bread and butter client she was talking about, knows how good Tammy is. She'll be like, we like our faces from picture number 5, but we want his arm from picture number 7 and his hair from picture number 3. And Tammy makes it happen. It's totally a false memory.
All of her pictures every year are false representations of what really happened.
You're not kidding. You're being serious?
Yeah, I'm being very serious. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know most people out there in chat know this, but if you don't keep up now with the most recent copy of Photoshop or Lightroom, they don't give you the upgrade price in the future. Starting with CS6 and Lightroom 4, you have to have the most recent one to upgrade and get the upgrade price.
That's good to know. I tell you, it was kind of a nightmare, to be honest with you. I was out, without a computer for about 4 days, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use my camera, use CS4 or CS6, and how to use Lightroom 4. I'm like, I am completely just like, every day I'm going, crap, where's my text? Where's my font? Or where's my shortcuts? Like all my shortcuts that I had on the other computer and all my other program. It was, it's a completely new working for me.
I'm just I'm reading the chat right now too and seeing everybody talking about not wanting to pay charge more than they'd be willing to pay themselves. And I know Tammy and I've had that very same conversation. She says often, she goes, I couldn't afford me.
No.
Yeah.
And that is something I think you do have to get over if you're going to want to make a living. If you want to make a legitimate living being a photographer, and it's going to be more than just some extra spending cash, you gotta go. You gotta be willing to charge more.
Right.
Yeah, you really do, and that was very difficult for me. But it really is kind of a confidence thing. It's also, I mean, you kind of have to let go of that. You really do, because otherwise you will just be making beans.
Yeah.
And it will just be a hobby, and it will never be a career.
And you won't be able to keep up with the latest, greatest. I mean, it's such a blessing that she's been able to buy the Mark III, and that's awesome. But had she been charging beans, she wouldn't be able to get the nicest stuff. So
that's right. That's exactly it.
Do you offer hair and makeup for your regular senior sessions at an additional price or anything like that?
I do, and I would. Yes, I do. I don't like doing a senior session with a girl without a hair and makeup artist, but I've done it without them. But yes, I do. And my makeup artist, she's really great. She will just charge me like, a per person rather than a per hour kind of thing. So she goes along with me on the 2-hour shoot, or however long the shoot will wind up being in the end. And she'll do touch-ups and stuff throughout the whole photo shoot, and change hair, change colors of makeup and different things like that. And she's also a stylist, so she kind of helps me with posing if I kind of get in a funk. So
now, is that built into the pricing you already have, or is that an add-on?
It's an add-on. Yeah,
okay.
That's one of those. We don't like to nickel and dime people, but that's something that we just have recently been doing. So yeah, they can add it on, and I don't mark that up. I just basically
pass the price on.
Pass the price on to the client. So, and it's worked really well with the people that have actually used a makeup artist. It really makes, as a photographer, it makes my job a lot easier because, I mean, the girls look so much better once they have their hair and makeup professionally.
Oh, yeah.
And then too, just like getting, stray hairs out of their eyes, and really just kind of looking at them and having a second set of eyes. I mean, they can see things that you're not seeing behind the camera, so it really does pay for itself. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, why don't I just add it into my package? But I don't have that good a relationship with her that I'd want to go ahead. Not that I don't have a good relationship with her, but she has another job. So it's not like I can just say, hey, every photo shoot you're coming along. So it's kind of just one of those.
We can address that question about clothing changes.
Yeah.
She basically just says, hey, you've got me for 2 hours. Her senior sessions are 2 hours, $150 for the session. And so as many clothing as you want to do in 2 hours, it's up to you. So
typically I will get about, it depends on, the girl or the guy. Believe it or not, I've had some guys to do a lot of changes. But I will get about 4 to 5 outfits in 2 hours. And it also depends on how many locations that we go to. I'll go to, 2 or 3 different locations if that's what they want, or we'll just stick at one location. Or we'll get kicked out of a location. Just don't like about that.
Yeah, we had some of your photos playing in the background as y'all were talking earlier. We didn't get a chance to go over any individual ones, but I will save that when we have you back on the show, and we can use those again. So, and I always mention that the photos that we show don't show the true quality because we have to degrade them somewhat to stream them. So be sure to go out to Tammy's site and look over her work. We'll have all the links for everything that's out there. But how about now? We can come back in just a second to questions if we want, but how about now we do some of the giveaway, Kathleen?
Let's do it.
So let's start with the second place gift. The thing that I thought Amazon sent me 2 of for the price of 1, and I thought, lucky me, look at the Amazon did. I got 2 of them. Until I looked at the bill and found out I ordered 2 and I paid for both of them. So we're going to give this away. And we did it a new way. We used something called Rafflecopter this time, and I think from my end of it, it worked great. And I didn't hear any complaints from anybody else, so hopefully it worked good for you. It went off without a hitch, and then I don't even have to worry about randomly doing anything. You just let the system pick a winner.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and the winner of this, there you go, is Kaylee Marie Williams. Kaylee, yes, Marie Williams. So awesome. I have your email address. I will be emailing you, and what I need from you is actual physical address so I can ship that off.
That's awesome.
And then I did say 72 hours on the page. Let me know within 72 hours. But I think because of all of our fans and listeners who are having trouble up in New Jersey, New York, and that whole area, and all the mess that's going on up there, we're going to waive that and just hold it for a while. If we never hear from the person, if I never get the address after a few weeks, we may do something different. But I don't know where these people live until they give me an address, and they could be impacted by the storm.
Right. Sure.
Now let's do the big one.
The big one.
However you say it, I'll be glad to get rid of this because I cannot pronounce it right.
Wacom.
And drum roll. The winner of the Wacom, however you say it, tablet is Jennifer Pape.
Yay, Jennifer! Congratulations. Jennifer
Pape. So I don't know if either one of those are out there in chat, but you didn't have to be live to win it. Wacom. Somebody says Wacom.
I say Wacom.
I say Wacom.
Yeah.
I read I was actually just 20 minutes ago reading how to pronounce it online, and somebody called their tech support, and the person on the phone answered Wacom. So there you go.
Wacom. Okay.
Wacom.
Wacom. All right. So Jennifer, I will be emailing you for this, and Kaylee for the other one. And as soon as I get your address, I will be sending these UPS or whatever to you, and we'll get started up and on the next giveaway, which looks like it's going to be an Expo disc. And then who knows, we may do another one of these in the future. We'll have to rotate it around. So don't forget, as you get ready for the holiday season, to click on that Amazon link, and we can do more of these. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully that they'll enjoy both of these.
Yeah. I did find one question in chat. Maybe we can let this be the last one. How many images, Tammy, do you put in your final gallery for the client to choose from?
I just typed it in there. It depends on the shoot, but typically about 60 for seniors. Because I do a book. If they buy the biggest package, they can get a book. Actually, they can get a book regardless. But yeah, the book usually comes with about 30 images in it, so that gives them enough images to kind of narrow down to those 30 for the book.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, hold on. Who's your favorite senior photographer that you follow?
I think that's a loaded question.
It is. I don't really. That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one.
What about just photographer in general?
Kathleen Bowie.
Oh, stop it.
There you go. That's the best answer to give, because I know what the other person was searching for. Scott Green.
That's awesome. Very
cool.
So anyway, if you the best way to get the show, well, I'll have it out in a few days, or hopefully maybe sooner. But if you want to make sure you get it every week, be sure to subscribe to us either on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, on YouTube, or just whatever podcast catcher you get. I use Beyond Pod on my phone, which I don't know. I know it's available for Android. I know Apple has their own. I do have links to some web pages that tell you which ones are best, or the highly rated, I should say. If you do have iTunes, go out, even if you don't subscribe to us, go out to iTunes and leave a comment or a rating or whatever they call that on iTunes about the show. It helps us move up in the ratings and people find the show. We're also on Twitter, jpeg2RAW.com, on Facebook page and group, jpeg2RAW, and I think that's it.
Awesome.
Thank
Tammy?
you,
everybody. Thank you so much, Tammy, and thank you, Steve, also for all of your insight with the pricing. That was awesome.
Very
yes,
fun.
thank you, Steve and Tammy. Tammy, I'm glad we finally got you to come on the show.
Yes, it wasn't because I didn't want to. Just had a lot going on last year.
I know you are a very busy person, and I remember whenever you told me maybe whatever date it was, I can't remember how far out it was. I was thinking, I don't know if the show will make it that long. I don't know if we'll still be doing the show that long.
Well, congratulations! Yay.
When we were on show number 5 or 6 or whatever it was when I was talking to you about it, heck, I didn't know if I'd make it to 10. So I'm glad.
I want to throw this out there that Tammy, I don't know for anybody in chat who's seen the image that I took of the mommy holding her newborn baby in the snow, that's Tammy and her daughter Amelia, and that was last February.
Yes, yeah,
and
it was February.
And she's pregnant with number 3 right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody out in chat, Jackie, said, I forgot to remind people to click on the link below chat. So I'm not sure I'm supposed to actually say that. I don't know if that's a violation against Google, so I'm not going to say that if you want to, click on that link below chat, because if you see something compelling there and you are interested in it, and it's, you know, whatever, you click on it if you feel like it.
Only if you feel like it.
Only if you feel like it. Thanks everybody out in chat for coming out. We'll go ahead and end the live show. And next week, who do we have next week, Kathleen?
I do not remember.
And this is somebody of yours. Tammy, you are lucky that Kathleen came, because what she generally does is the people
I invite somebody and then I don't show up.
No, it's worse than that. She invites somebody and is the person she really, really wants to talk to, and you would have to be at the top of that list. And then she sends me an email and says, Mike, it's been 3 weeks since I took a vacation, so I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. And then I remind her, Tammy's coming on.
And then I changed my plans for Tammy.
Aww, so sweet. Thank you.
Next week, next week is Tamara Burris. Tamra.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
From the Treetops or something like that?
Yes. Beyond the Treetops, is that the name?
Beyond the Treetops.
I might have that wrong. I will
look that up before the next week's show.
Yes, please do.
From the Treetop. What did I say?
Treetop. That's what it is.
I don't remember what I said now, but that's what it is. From the Treetop.
Beyond the Treetops.
That's what she said. That's what Kathleen said.
From the Treetops Photography.
Next week we have her. Then we have the following week we have Camellia Binks, and believe it or not, after that is the week of Thanksgiving. It's already getting toward the Thanksgiving, so we're going to take 2 weeks off at the end of the month.
That'll be good.
Thanksgiving, because we don't know what everybody's travels plans are, and I'm going to try and get a few things done around here.
Awesome.
So be sure to come out next week, in the next 2 weeks, and thank you guys for coming. We'll see you next week. You want to talk about some crazy lighting here? I'll show you guys something here. Let's see if this will work. All right, can y'all see that in chat in just a second?
Oh, man.
All right,
that's
so
awesome.
You know what these 3 things are?
What are they?
Milk jugs.
No way, that's so smart. What do you have underneath them, LEDs?
LED lamps from Home Depot are in those.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
using it, and the LEDs aren't hot.
Yep, they're creating the the diffusion.
Can you see it?
How do you think it would be if I show up to a newborn session with some milk jugs on top of my LED?
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work well. And for everybody who made fun of me last week about having 4 monitors, count them now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.
What do you even do with that many monitors?
Well, the one over the
Holy
fifth,
cow.
the 5th one is generally not used, except for like when on my workbench when I'm working on computers. But I decided to attach it because I needed it to do something for the show. So
that's insane.
But normally I do have 4 going, and the one that you see here is on its side, so I got it long, so it looks good for doing web pages. I mean, for showing web pages.